Hey, welcome to the second episode of Culture Digger, and I can't wait to use our jingle. We're already starting. Today I would like to explain a bit the Culture Digger podcast. Then we'll talk about copyright protection. Then we'll slightly scratch the subject of the revenue of the US radio broadcasters. And after all this, I'll try to talk about the radio in a really cheesy way. I would like to remind at first that Culture Digger is the podcast about cultural phenomena, decade reviews, architecture and design, and too many other interesting stuff. But what do I mean after all these beautiful words? For example, if there was a day when I have been listening to some great album or saw a really beautiful building, it made me a day. It was a wonderful day for me. Maybe I'm a really simple person, because only simple person can have only two examples for such things. Okay, going on. So after I did this, saw or listened to, I want to tell my friends about it. Not only what I have seen or what emotions did I feel, but the story and the data that I got on my way to my friends about this object or this album, about anything beautiful and something that just got my feeling, all right, I feel safe and sound with this. Every beauty has its structure and has its story, and my task is to provide the information I found useful for you and my emotions about this in my podcast. Because if I'm the only one host of Culture Digger, I don't expect my episodes be longer than 15 minutes, with maybe few irregular exceptions. And I think it was enough for the exploration of Culture Digger podcast, and right now we can move on to our next topic of discussion, copyright protection. I think it's pretty clear for everyone that copyrights should be respected, because every product has its author, and we definitely can't know exactly what the path is beyond this product and this author. How many tries did he use to make this possible for himself and for you? And right now I would like to give some example why I think that copyright protection in nowadays gets really important. So when we watch some YouTube video or listen to the podcast, we wait that the person that creates public content makes it with all the responsibility that he has and with all his knowledges. And there is a complete different situation when a simple consumer uses some protected media in his social nets and gets his post blocked. And that's the signal that copyright protection gets stronger and heavier right now. So we should be really careful with all the content and media that you use anywhere, in your personal account or commercial account. Nowadays, it doesn't really matter. And if you have to use regularly someone's media, not yours, I really recommend you to read something about Creative Commons license, about its types. Really great tool to make your content legal and different. There are such types of license that provide you the rights not only to use the media, but also put some changes in it. Why audio copyright protection? Why I didn't choose another copyright? Because music entertains, at my view, everyone. Everyone uses subscribing services, listening to the radio. Everyone Shazams any songs that he hears everywhere, and then maybe uses them in his personal Instagram or something else. And it comes really dangerous in our times. Be careful with all copyright protected content. And the pressure in this sphere gets really freaky, as I think, after one indicating example. And I really don't want my podcast to be about the guitars, and it won't be, but there is a really good example. So once I went to YouTube for checking some musical videos or something else, and there I found an exploration of the best riffs of some exact decade like 80s or 90s, made by a guy who plays the guitar really well. Usually he prepares some tutorial videos and all this stuff, So he wanted to start to pick up the riff from one very popular song in heavy metal genre on the electric guitar. And the point is that he couldn't really play the guitar. He had to imitate it by his voice. It looked weird, and he commented something like, "I'm sorry, but it's gonna be ridiculous, so listen." I find freaky the situation where such a person who educates someone to play the guitar at his YouTube channel can't perform this song by himself. Of course, he won't get a concert with this song, and that's clear for us. But why can't he use some riff? I don't understand this. And I really don't want to look like some "you better behave well" guy, but I would really like to warn anyone who doesn't know too much about all these copyright protection instruments. But right now, I have a really nice article to comment. Yeah, I knew that you're going to react something like this, or am I the only one who reacts so? Fine. The article called "YouTube's Revenue, It's Bigger Than US Radio" by Adam Jacobson from rbr.com, published in February of 2020, says that in 2019, YouTube had a really good revenue. This company earned only $4 billion less than all the United States radio broadcasters together for the same year. And to be clear, here I'm talking about the revenue from advertising. All the exact numbers you can find in the article, and the link I'll provide in the description to this episode. And right now we have an instead of ad break. After it, we're gonna continue our discussion. While my podcast is non-commercial, I'll take a chance to recommend you someone or something to discover according to my personal taste and opinion in the Instead of Ad break. Today's heroes are Built to Spill, nice American indie rock band that has a big history and beautiful songs which only get better if they are really long. In case when you're looking for a true indie sound, here it is. I wouldn't say that their music always gives safe and sound feeling, but there are such water circles of lyrics and guitar rhythms that you will love to remember after listening. So, right now we can continue. Why did I put all these items to the one episode? Radio, audio copyrights protection. I've got an idea a few days ago about the life of radio and why does it stay alive. One more idea to that box. Radio was a really big source of information and fresh music in the 20th century, but nowadays, as everybody knows, we have too many alternatives for the radio. So news we can get from aggregators, weather from some sites, we can get music via another aggregators, reports or interviews or discussions we can get via podcasting. And where is the place of radio in this system? We'll try to find, and we'll find it in many musical programs and reviews. I can't see too many YouTube videos that can really provide a full examples of songs to listen and to match in any charts or etc. These songs are too expensive to provide in your own content, to buy all these rights, that radio has its, for my opinion, kind of a monopoly on it. It's not official, but I think that radio has it. Because if you try to start your show and if you try to find any universal way to have a free usage of copyright protected audio, and especially modern audio, you have too many different negotiations with copyright owners, with anyone else, with authors, etc. You have too many preparations for a really small show that should come out regularly. So you have too many work for something simple. And these simple things are afforded by radio stations in everyday mode. If you think another way just comment via Twitter and we'll discuss this. But at the moment, what I can see, that many YouTubers that I would like to listen or to watch has their segments or rubrics in their show, describing music, exploring it, providing some news about new releases, EPs, albums, and etc. They can give a really nice comments saying that this is wonderful and too many nice details about one and another, but they can't tune on the music because it's too expensive to buy rights on some music for every your show. And I would like to repeat, that's my opinion, and I would listen to any comment via Twitter. And I don't think that it was kind of critic for the radio. I really love radio all my life. I just figured out that such thing can exist, and I would like to think about it with you. But radio is something maybe more romantic nowadays. Such a thing as radio receiver can be often used like a charming element of interior, but not the everyday tool. So the finish of this episode became not so cheesy about the radio as I thought it would be, but we have what we have, so right now I would like to say many thanks to everyone who listens to my podcast. My name is Sandy Riffs. I'm really glad to see you here again, or to listen, or what? I can't see you and I can't listen to you. I said something stupid. Sorry for this. But I think that irony is better than some glossy lecture, well-demeanor thing. In next episodes we'll finally discuss architecture or design, something like this. Subscribe and tell your friends about this podcast. Let's develop together. New episodes every Wednesday. Many thanks to all the listeners.